Welcome back to another video, guys, and yes, it is true. For the longest time, I sucked at Forex trading. I spent over $10,000 on Forex courses trying to learn, trying to get consistent, and trying to figure out how to consistently make a dollar from the market. It took me many years, roughly 5 years of not being profitable before I eventually managed to become a funded trader, and I quit my job and traded full-time for 2 years without any other source of income. So in today's video, we're going to break down the 3 things that I realized by spending $10,000 on courses, these years of struggling and not being profitable, so you don't have to spend another dollar on a course, so you don't have to spend 5 years of losing money, and so you can become a profitable trader, get funded, quit your job if that's your goal, and all of those good things. So let's not waste any time. Number 1 is time frames. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to trade. I'm not here to tell you to change your entire strategy. But what I am here to tell you is that through all of my years of experience from trading, quality over quantity is better. And when you are a newer trader, you're so eager to learn, you're so eager to get into the markets and to take a trade that you tend to go to the shorter and smaller time frames, those 15-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute charts if you're extra crazy. And for me, that just never worked. Whereas when I went to the higher time frames, the 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily, and actually got a bird's eye view of what was going on in the market, completely transformed my trading. Not only were my trades better, not only was I making more money, but it was way less work. To stare at the 15-minute chart, it takes so much effort. You're always setting alerts, you're always checking all the time. But if you have those 4-hour levels lined up, you've got your alert set on that time frame, and you actually see the big picture, it makes a massive difference in your trading. And for me, it was really the catalyst for me going from being an unprofitable trader to being a profitable trader, because I was entering on these zones that were much stronger, and it made a huge difference. So tip number 1, higher time frames. If you are struggling, at least at the bare minimum, play around with them. Number 2, this brings us to the A+ setups. When I took my very first funding challenges with FTMO all the way back in 2020 or 2021, there was only 30 days to pass, and it started, your challenge started, the 30-day countdown started on your very first trade. And so by taking these challenges, I learned discipline and how important it was to start the challenge with a winning trade. And if it was going to be a winning trade, I had to ensure that it was an A+ setup. And I think, I don't know the actual numbers, but if I had to guess, I bet over 50% of traders that aren't profitable just because they're shooting themselves in the foot, because they're not taking A+ setups. They're taking, B+ setups, C- setups, just setups that get them into the market because they're so eager to trade. And unfortunately, 90% of trading is just waiting. So if you are struggling, definitely consider just increasing that discipline.
19! Yeah! 20, you got some more in you.
Increasing that filter and only taking the very best setup. The question that I like to ask myself when taking a challenge, and you can apply this to all trades, is if this trade goes on to be a losing trade, if I fail my challenge because of this trade, will I be able to live with myself? Will I be able to accept it? And when you answer no to that, it's typically because the setup just isn't that good. You can already feel yourself, regretting taking that trade. But if it's an A+ setup, you'll be able to move on, accept it, and just acknowledge that is part of trading. That is tip number 2. The third thing that massively transformed my trading is when I realized that I wasn't seeing success, not because of my trading, but simply because I didn't have a large enough data set. So one of the best parts about running Lark Funding is I get to see the data of every trader, especially the traders that pass the challenge. I get an email notifying me every single time one of you guys passes with a huge breakdown of your stats. And I love seeing it because it's so interesting. There's so many different ways to be profitable. But one thing that I've noticed on a consistent basis is that many traders that pass, they have low win rates. We're talking 30%. 25%. And the other side of that coin means that, they're losing 75% of their trades. Out of 10 trades, 7 or 8 of those trades are going to be losses. The math makes total sense, but psychologically and emotionally, very few traders are actually able to withstand that. And to bring that back to the large sample size, many traders, myself included, when I started, if I take a couple of consecutive losses, that's it. I come to think my strategy doesn't work anymore. I'm missing something. There's something I don't know about how the market functions. Whereas if I had just kept going on, kept pushing, and built up a large enough sample size, everything would have played out. The law of large numbers would have played out. My edge would have actually taken effect, and I would have been profitable. And so I think this is so powerful. This is so under discussed because it's a numbers game. You need to take enough trades to allow your edge to play out. Statistically, depending on what your win rate is, your risk reward, all of that stuff, it's possible that you could go on an 8-trade losing streak. You could lose a ton of trades in a row, but still be a profitable trader, and it's not your strategy. So if you're struggling, just really think, is it actually your strategy? Or is it just because you're not taking enough trades? You're not letting the law of large numbers actually play out. Another tip that massively helped me is when I realized that the more you need to make money from trading, the less likely you are to actually make money. And this is very counterintuitive. You get into trading because you want to make money, but unfortunately, if you are desperate to pay your rent, to pay the bills, and trading is your only source of income, you're gonna struggle, right? Because you're gonna need to force those trades, you're going to need to make money. And I wish I learned this sooner, because most people know this and will accept this, but if 90% of trading is just waiting, especially when you move to those higher time frames, I wish I had better utilized all of that time that I spent staring at the charts, basically doing nothing, just wasting time. I wish I had used that time to build another source of income, to build a business on the side, because once I had a business in place, once I started the Meet Matt L YouTube channel, even though I was only making $300, $400 a month from it, just knowing that there was a few dollars coming in and I didn't have to 100% rely on trading anymore, it made a massive difference for me. I was able to sleep better at night. I didn't force trades. It just made a world of a difference. And so if you're trying to make it in trading, trading is a phenomenal opportunity to make a ton of money, but I definitely encourage you to try and utilize all of the downtime in trading to build another source of income, build a skill, whatever it is. There's tons of ways to make money, and you have the time to do it with trading. I massively struggled as a trader for 4 or 5 years before I found consistency. So if that is any dose of motivation for you to keep going, please keep going, don't give up. But remember, quality over quantity, focus on those higher time frames, build a second source of income on the side, and of course, just play the long game. It takes time to learn trading, it takes time to follow the market, see how they move, see how they react, learn how to properly execute trades and become a funded trader. It takes time, so keep going. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace.